It was rough. I mean, y'all just didn't see all the roughness.
Yeah, well, I end up seeing more than the boys
Yes,
because it was stuff where it's just like I'll never forget that time where
closer to your graduating from high school. Yeah, you start.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't think I would ever forget when the furnace went out.
yeah.
That was that was rough. That one was rough. I just like
And I had to add, and I didn't want to. We were just going, and our house is a duplex, so we got a
huge
full basement, full first floor. We still
full
live there, and
second
full
floor.
second floor.
Yeah, me and my brothers had our
Three,
own apartment, literally.
and I was like, well, we're just gonna get, what you call them? Not space heaters, kerosene heaters. And I don't know, I said something to my mother about it, and she was like, and I couldn't believe it because me and my mother was always kind of like, eh. She was like, you can't warm up no full house like that with no. And she actually got the furnace for us, and I just paid her back when it was time to give me my taxes. She used one of her charges, but I was like willing not to even ask.
Yeah, it was
Oh, I'm
probably
sorry.
too. I think it was probably. I think what was hard about that is that's when I think I realized that you and Granny's relationship was not what I thought it was, right? Like, because Granny to her grandkids, it was always yes, it was always easy. I think we got in trouble, but it was rarely like we got our way. With you and her and y'all relationship, and now watching you now be her caregiver, I don't think. I think then is when I realized like, oh, something is not right here. Like something's going on, and I to this day, because I don't play with her about you. I'm like, I love you, but couldn't know my mama like that, like real quick and real easy, because I think I realized I think, and it's funny because I just helped Jermaine understand like, mom and Granny's relationship is not
They
what
didn't
we
see that. They
thought
used to
because they
see
didn't
way
see that,
more.
but I got to see it more because I lived in both
Yeah.
houses at one point, right? So like, but I remember that weight. I remember feeling like because when I had to move out because I got in trouble. And so, what was I? Shoot, probably in 10th grade, maybe, because I stayed with Granny until I graduated. And because I was mad about, I was working, I was in school, I had all kinds of extracurricular activities, and you was on the way home, and nobody took care of anything. Them three shorts did not do nothing in the house, and I came in like, y'all know she is on her way home, and I'm fussing at everybody, including Daddy, like, she gonna clown because the dishes ain't done, the house is a mess. And I remember this anxiety of like, well, I'll just do, like, I need to get it done because wasn't nothing getting done. And I had just finished it and come downstairs and you found the one thing that wasn't right, the one thing that wasn't done, or something, and you started snapping and I got smart. And then you laid me out on the kitchen floor. We just leave that there. And I got put out. And I remember being so mad and I had to go stay with Granny. And she was like, well, I never did her like that and something like that. And then, right. And then I found out from Banny that Granny was not telling the truth. And the tension that put in between all three of our relationship, because
It didn't make it right for me doing it to you because she did it to me, but yeah.
yeah, but I think too that I wish I would have understood. Sometimes I wish I get the protection of keeping a child. But at some point, though, I think there's some conversations that need to be had so there's clarity. Because a lot of stuff that we don't talk about is why abuse, is
Yes.
why
Yes.
hurt, is why all these other things continue to happen and continue to tear
Whatever goes
young
on
people
in
like
the home, stay in the
in the
home.
home.
It's not
Yep.
supposed to be that way.
Well, we know what it
That's a
did to me.
no-no.
It destroyed my childhood because it
Yeah.
was like I was trained and taught to be quiet, not don't tell this, keep this here. But that was the very thing that kept me captive. Like I'm not like, and now I'm like, I'm the rug snatcher backer. We're not gonna keep tripping over this situation here.
That's
It needs
right.
to be talked about. But it was because of that situation, I think, is when I really kind of realized, like, oh, there's something else going on. Even Granny Pat schooled me, like, and Patricia, like, she let me know, like, that ain't how that went. You're like, your mama was with us. Like, it was not. I'm like, oh, like I had a very different
Yeah, everybody raised me.
experience about that. What did that feel like though for you? Because you did the opposite. You made sure you raised your kids.
It hurt. But I didn't think my mom, we didn't, I just always thought that she didn't really like me.
Yep.
So I just, I stayed with 3 different aunts, and then included my grandmother, so 4 different households. As I grew up until I got into high school. So that it's I don't know, it feels weird. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a comfortable feeling.
Yeah.
So
And it's funny because that's what I'm referring to when I say that we need to have these hard conversations with our, parents to their kids, or like families need to have those really good sit downs, because I felt the same way. Different scenario, but I felt the same way. Like, y'all don't want me, and then having my stepbrothers, as wise as like we have different dads, got the same mom, and me trying to get you to understand when I was younger, like but it's different. Like, it's not, they have both their parents, it's different. And then the tension that me, my stepdad, but as I know dad growing up, we got this tension. And then, hearing that I was the cause of y'all marital issues younger on, because I had a lot of heavy things as a kid. Like, I think that made me feel the same way on the opposite. Your husband was upset one day. Yeah, your husband was upset one day and like fussing about something, and that came out. And I remember carrying that like for a very long time.
yeah,
Like,
you
oh, well,
carried
this
a lot
makes
of
sense.
stuff that you should not have carried.
And it sucks.
And he knows it now.
Oh yeah, we've talked.
He knows
All of
it
us have
now.
talked about it. But yeah, because I was like, that was unfair, because because now I have 3 parents essentially, technically.
Well, when I got
4.
with him, I told him, when we got together, I told him, well, I have a package deal. I have a son, so you're going to be with me, you're going to be with him. And he knew the situation with your biological father, so it was like, you can't just care about me and don't care about you. But, some people, how I want to say it, some people that have to raise their mates' kids, outside kids, do well, but it's more that don't than they do.
Yeah.
And you can't treat the outside child, I don't want to really say it that way, but you know what I'm
That's
saying.
the truth of the matter, yeah.
Different than the 2 that you do, or the ones that you do have by your mate. They see that.
I did.
They see that, and that can cause a whole lot of problems in their growing up.
I always refer to this one picture that I think you still keep in the same place. It usually always hangs above the chair when you're walking into the living room. And we got on those like colorful jogging suits. And it's like, even in the picture, I'm standing separate of Ricky and Jermaine. And then the family picture hung up under it. And like, I'm like kind of to the side in the 4 yards sitting together. I'm like, even and as a child, I'm going to pick that out, right? Because I'm already feeling left out.
And why was that like that, though?
I don't know. I do not know.
Did
I
you
just
move
know, I know
to the side?
I might have. Because remember, I was very, well, you learned later on in my life, very reserved and pulled away from like that stuff. But I remember just the image of that how I felt is the best. Like, if you pay attention to those, now that I said it, if you pay attention, because we got like the Ola Mills back in the Ola Mills.
Right.
For those of you who don't know nothing about nothing because y'all too young, Ola Mills was the place you go to get your pictures and stuff done. I don't even know if they got Ola Mills anymore, but shout out to Ola Mills.
That's why it's called Ola Mills.
Like, it was back in the day. But but the way I was feeling, the weight, and quite honestly, in full transparency now, the pain, if I think about how I felt being a part of, or not feeling a part of the family, that those pictures kind of like, that's why I don't even like looking at them. Like, that's why I'm like, I don't ask.
Do you think you would have felt, well, maybe, do you think you would have felt that way if your biological father's side if he was more in your life as a father?
I don't think so, because keep in mind, although I was dealing with a different kind of separation in your household, I was dealing with a much worse separation over there.
But if he was doing the right thing,
I don't know, because by him, he thought he was.
I don't know how he did.
I don't either. Like, because it wasn't.
Because your grandfather was more of your father
than
your biological father was.
Yep, that's who I knew as dad. And I would tell him that. Like, you're not my granddad, you're my dad. Like, that son of yours.
He took very good care of you.
My granddad was.
He was
like,
there for you.
All the time. Like, he was definitely.
He was trying to replace the fact that he knew his son was not doing what he was supposed to do with you.
And I carried that hate because that's what it was. There's no other way to word it. I was trying to find another word. It didn't come out. I carried that
That's what you
hate
felt. That's
against
what you
Kevin
felt.
Sr. until 2011, until we went through what we went through. And like that process is another reason why I let people know, like, you know, my mom is my world. I don't care what we've been through. I don't care what has happened. When it's come down to anything that's been like hard stuff to go through, I've never felt like you weren't there for me for those things. You were always there for me. And that situation was hard because I get a call from you, I'll never forget, on August 11th of 2011, and you was weird. You called me and you go, hey, what you doing? Because you know you always got to check to see where I'm at so you can tell me what you're going to tell me. And I was like, wherever I was at. And I was like, what's going on? Because I can hear it in your voice. And he's like, you need to call and check on your dad. And I was like, what? He's like, you need to call your peoples and check on your dad. And I was like, I just hung up with him. He's fine. Like, what are you talking about? And then it clicked in your head because you thought I was thinking, excuse me, Rick. And you was like, I am talking about Kevin Singer. And I was like, so thrown back to even, I ain't heard you say his name or reference that man in probably 20 years, literally. And I'm like, why? Like, why is he even coming up? And then you had found out, I forget how you found out. Somebody got a hold of you and told you he was sick and at the hospital. Mm-hmm. And then
I think it was your aunt.
It was one of my aunts. And then you were like, we should probably go down there. We should probably go see what's going on. And I remember this fear setting in my gut. And also the last time I had seen him, I let him know I never wanted to see him again and he could die. That was the last conversation we had had. And I was a kid. I was very young. And I remember the last time I had seen him, he had just got finished putting his hands on me. I just got finished getting beat by him. And I remember like, I hate you. And then hearing you say to go see him, because the one thing I will also say you did that a lot of people don't do, a lot of women don't do, and the kid's like, you never bad talked him to me. And so I'm like, why is she telling me this? And then I did what you said. I came home and we went to the hospital, and it was the weirdest thing because it was the first time I had been in the same room with my parents in probably 20 years. Mm-hmm. First time. And I'm like, this is an awkward feeling. You're sitting right here. I was sitting in a chair. My best friend, you know, Tarsha came with us. She was there. And he's laying in this hospital bed. And he was making this big fuss over you. Like, he was so glad to see you. And it was again a reminder, like, I am still freaking invisible. Like,
it was,
how are you so focused? You did. You let him know, like, you need to quit. I forget how you say it. You need to quit focusing on all of this and trying to worry about what I'm doing. Your son is sitting right here. But by that time, I'm sitting in a chair. I'm crippled in like fear and hurt. Tears are rolling down my face because I really want to jump on this bed and kill him. Like, I was so mad. But the child, I was so disappointed in myself then because the child in me, I was so mad at the child in me for like getting upset.
No, you had the right to be upset.
I know, but that was hard. I didn't want him to have that.
But he felt that.
Yeah, he did. I just didn't want him to have that. I didn't want him to have, because
no,
I had planned out everything I was going to say to him.
Way.
Oh, yeah, he did.
And he needed to feel that.
Yep.
He needed to feel that before he passed. He needed to feel that. Because look what all you missed.
Yeah.
Look what all he missed. All the positive things you've done. You growing up. So he needed to feel that. That's why I told you need to talk to him. Don't focus on me because there is no us.
I don't think, though, and this is probably the first time I'm ever saying this, but I'm serious. I don't think, though, he would have done any of that if you wouldn't have come. Because it's been other times we've passed by and he's treated me like he didn't see me. I don't think, because that was the first time the three of us was in the room. Oh, yeah, you told me you was coming.
I'm like, oh, I'm going.
But I really
Trust me, I didn't want to seem, I didn't know how, I ain't going to say I forgave him. I just forgot about him. I blocked him out for not taking care of you like he should have. Because you would have thought that I had a one-night stand and had a baby and blah, blah. It wasn't like that. It's like
y'all were in a whole
we
relationship.
were in a whole relationship. How do you act like this towards your child?
Yeah.
So, but I knew that, and I was told also by my mother and grandmother, never downgrade his father to him. Whatever's going on with him, he'll find out on his own as he grow up. He'll decide and make decisions on how he feel about it. So I didn't. So, but I did. But me going to taking you to go see him on his deathbed,
Which
I
at
didn't
that
know.
time
I
we
didn't
didn't
know
even know.
how I was gonna feel
Yeah.
to see because I hadn't seen him in years either.
Yeah, I was a kid.
Just as long as you have.
Yeah.
And but I was over it. And I was over it. I ain't gonna say I forgave him. I think I just was over. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I definitely didn't have
God
no
working
forgiveness.
mysterious ways. That's all I could think.
That's true, because I definitely didn't have no forgiveness for him in my heart then, because I
Right,
was like, I really just wanted to take him out, and then my heart had to soften for him, because you also helped me realize, because I don't know if it was for you, but there was the first time when he told me how he felt about who I look as my hero, his dad, my grandfather, who I look at as my dad, right? How he had been treated by him. And I'm like, oh, you only doing what's been taught to you. You actually really and truly didn't know no better. Like, it made me think like you didn't have any skills. Nobody taught you how to be a father. So
Right.
you were
Yeah, 'cause, well,
literally,
yeah.
you didn't have that. Like your dad was financially, but you actually have a story too. And it took way after we was in that hospital and even left, because I broke down, and I was so hurt because the only thing that can come out my mouth to him was, why didn't you want me? Like, why didn't you want us? And I was mad because that's not what I wanted to say to him, but like I had everything else I wanted to say to him stored up for years.
Yeah.
And the only thing that come out my mouth is like, why didn't you want me? Why didn't you want my mom? Like, why didn't you want us? Like, explain that to me. And he come to find out that's not what he was feeling. He wanted us. He just didn't. He thought it was the best to not be with us because
He wanted us, but he wanted me to. He wanted to be able to have us and whoever else he wanted to be with.
Yeah,
And
selfishly.
I didn't roll like that.
Right.
And since he couldn't have me, he cut you off too, which was like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
But and it took me a lot to get over him. But what helped me is I can look back now and go, the only good thing that I can really say, minus before you came, before you was conceived and all that, good times I did have with him, up until the day he passed, is that the best thing he did is he gave me you. That was the best. I'm like, I have this beautiful, handsome son, educated, and he can't take that away.
No.
He didn't raise him, but he can't take that away. And then on top of that, you look like him.
Which I
Even though they say you look like me, but you look like him.
I hate it.
But
I hate it.
I know
still
you
to this
hate
day,
it,
I
but
hate it. I'm like,
you're
I don't look like I'm
handsome,
gonna look at
you're
my mom.
educated, you know, you lovable and all that, and he can't take that away.
This is true. And then you
I think I told him that on his deathbed
you
too.
did.
When he was in hospice, I think I
And
told him
then
on
you
his
made
deathbed.
it
Wow.
even harder, because it's like, because then what I do is take care of him. Remember, I came back home, came back to Columbus,
Yep, at hospice.
got all my stuff together, and then I came up and was there until the day before. I left the morning of him passing,
That's
which was
right.
crazy. Remember, I couldn't take him no more because all that drama they had going on.
Yes.
And I was like, I gotta
You
go.
didn't need to be there for all of that.
Nah, I was in the right place. And the whole time what he kept saying was like, y'all the first family, and I was just looking at him like, you keep celebrating that, that's cute. But you left us high and dry, bro. And he and his friends, I remember being his friends in the room with him was like, you really messed that up with him. Like, you should have
Yeah,
never.
because his friends knew we were in a I wasn't a drive-by. We were in a real relationship.
And I took care of him, was helping him out. There was a few times I tried to take him out while he was already dying because he was getting on my nerves. But I am glad that I did have the space to have both of you there, and then to also be able to unpack afterwards. Because it's like, I don't know, if you weren't the kind of present mother that you are, I don't know how I would unpack. I know someone who lost their father, and the mama was like, well, he wasn't no good into all this, and she's still talking crap to her child about it, and he's suffering. He's like, I need to talk to you. Like, but he was still my dad. Like, it's still, and you didn't do that. You were there, like, we did the funeral, like, we did all the things to this day where we were able to unpack that, and I'm definitely appreciative that you definitely jumped in like that, because that, you could have definitely been like, yeah, we're not doing this.
I didn't need that on my soul.
I don't blame you. I do not
I had
blame you.
enough going on. I didn't need that on my soul. I didn't, you know. That hurts a child for somebody to degrade their father or mother to them. I don't even know whatever's going. That's not a good thing for any parent to do
Yeah.
to a child that's their other parent is not in their life. That is not good. You will find out on your own.
Yeah. Yeah, and kids do. Like, all kids will figure out on
And then
their
I don't
own who
want to
their
say you
parents
just
are.
like your dad. You just like I don't want. I
Yeah,
don't
you
like. I
never
don't
said
like
it to me.
saying none of that. No.
No.
Because I wanted you to do better than him, which
Yeah.
all parents want their kids to should want their kids to be better than them. So
Right.
why am I going to tell you acting just like your dad? No,
Yeah.
no.
Do you think things would have been different with him if he actually gave it a chance to be in my life?
In your life,
Yeah.
yes, a whole lot.
Okay.
Because everybody, I wish I had a dad.
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff that I've been through, if my dad was in my life, on the type of men that I picked, I think I would be better. I would have did better.
Okay.
But he lived in California and I live here.
Yeah.
And he come and visit maybe once every other year or so. So I wasn't in his, it's a difference. But all kids need both parents. You learn different things and different things from your both parents.
Yeah.
And it's different kind of love for both parents. And if we all had that, the world would be a better place. I'm sorry.
That's true. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And I hear you. I definitely hear you. I just don't know.
You don't think he would have?
I don't know.
If he would
Because he
have,
had them other ones right in the house with him.
well, I guess let me rephrase that. If it was just you,
Things probably would have been different.
and he continued doing the things like he went to college, he got a full. If he did the things that he started off doing, you would have had it wonderful. Now, with him having other siblings,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad I got to a point and was raised in a way where
that
I
I
was able
don't.
to.
I thought you was y'all just
Yeah.
him just. I'm not thinking you're talking about his other kids.
No, I'm just looking at the dynamics because.
But if he would have raised them like he's would have raised them,
Right.
and raised you the same way, it probably been you'd be just been beautiful. But
Because being in that household on the other side, it sucked.
but he would have had to be a different person than he was,
Right. You're right. I
like
agree with
working a working human being.
you. Yeah.
He wasn't doing none of that. He was just out there.
I think though that one of the things that has helped me,
He was an honor student.
which is funny.
He had a full ride for
Yeah,
UT,
I know, and
and
we
he
all know.
chose drugs, and went downhill. Chose the streets, and it just went down. So if he didn't do none of that, and even if he still had other kids, if it was still you still was the oldest, I think it would have been okay. You would have had
It's
other
unfortunate though,
siblings.
because I'll never know.
No,
I will never know, and that sucks. Like I'm at a point now in my life where I'm like really looking at my history, where am I from, all these things, and as of right now, I have no connection. I have no one to ask questions like where do I come from. Remember, I didn't even find out about stuff with my granddad. He gone now, and
And
he was
that
adopted, and I'm like, what? And
that
I've
hurts
gotta-
me because I didn't mean to cut you off, but that hurts me because it's like you really need to know when you have kids by someone, you really need to know the other person's history and turn it over, and relate it to your kids, because that's like a whole empty space.
Yeah.
Same way with mine. I don't know my people on my father's side. My grandparents died before I was born. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if uncle, aunt. I don't know none of that.
Yeah.
And my mother was married to my father,
Right.
but I don't know none of that.
Yeah.
So
It's a whole.
It's just an empty.
And I didn't realize that till I went to the doctor. Remember when we had to have this?
Yeah, it's just an empty, big old empty space.
And I freaked out. I'm getting ready to have this major surgery that it took me forever to realize, Kevin, it's a major surgery. Like, because I think I was downplaying. And then which is weird because it's just a few months ago, right? And when they asked me the medical history,
And you don't know
and
it.
I didn't know how to answer anything, and I'm like,
And he did
wait,
have stomach
actually,
issues. That's what
right,
he died from.
right. And I was like, well, all I know is what you guys are about to fix on me is what he died from. I don't know any other history.
Right.
And then, luckily I have a good medical team that advocated with me. I learned how to advocate for myself. And so
And you believed in going to the doctor. Some
believed in
black
going to
men
the
didn't like
doctor,
going to the doctor.
right, getting the
And he
help.
didn't want to go to the. He didn't never want to go to the doctor.
He thought he was going home. He was dying with that bag. Like, remember, his stomach was
Colostomy
already
bag.
gone. And he was just like, when he would eat, it would go right in the bag. And he was just like, oh, this is so good. And it was like, you don't even take, like, it was like, I don't know if he was in full denial. And then watching him just in that 3 months go, he was looking older than his dad, looking older than my granddad by the time that chemo stuff took him out.
Yeah.
And how fearful I was that I went, oh, this is my future. This is what's going to happen to me. And that it took me a minute to really come back. Because I didn't say it a lot, but that was what was going through my head. Like, oh. And then being mad at him because I'm like, you left me with nothing but cancer. Thanks. Like, great, sir. Like, and watching that process and going, I'm not, and it took a long while for me to go, I'm not going to be like this. I need to go ask questions. I need to go get the help. And I did. But I was stuck for a minute because when you watch that process happen and how quick he was, August, went to the hospital, died that same year, Christmas Eve, or the day before Christmas Eve. Like, that quick, I'm like, what just happened?
Because he never
went go get checked up.
Because
it was preventative.
Any illnesses that you feeling, a person needs to go, as soon as you feel it, the early detection is the best thing.
Yeah, go get the help. Go get the help.
Give you more lifespan.
Yeah.
But you went to I made sure you went to the doctor as a kid till you.
I knew better.
So it's like, go ahead and, go see.
To go do these things, yeah.
But he didn't do that.
Oh, it's weird because it's like navigating all of those things, which
he wasn't
again,
raised
I'm
like that.
Thankful for. Well, it's weird though because he was, but wasn't, right? Because his mama went to the doctor and his daddy went to the doctor. Like, my granddad stayed at the doctor. They didn't talk about it though. It wasn't a conversation. So it's again the same thing I'm saying before. Like, families need to sit down and have healthy conversations about hard things, because then you learn about stuff.
Because they had braces. They had all.
They had all that stuff. Like,
but you're right about that. I forgot about that. But once they turned 18,
they shut it all off. They made a decision.
I'm not going to the doctor. Nothing's going to happen to me.
It's only a few of them left now. Like, all of one of my grandmother's Matarines, it's only one of hers.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, to make a choice like that. Like, the reason why, you like when you ask me, do I, or how, I forget how you said, like, do I love what I'm doing now where I'm at? Yes, I believe so deeply in, personal development. I believe so deeply in emotional intelligence. I believe I want to grow. I don't want to be stuck. Because I watch so many people be stuck for no reason. You don't have to be in that situation. That doesn't have to be the storyline. And like I tell people when I go places.
You watched me being stuck.
Right, I have. And I tell people all the time, like, I've seen it. I've seen it in my households I've grown up in. I've seen it in my households I've visited for weekends and summers. I've seen it, and it was something I never, I'm always like, why is this sitting right here? Clean this up. Why is this like this? Because in my mind, if you keep looking at the same thing, if you keep seeing the same thing, if you keep laying in the same place, all you're going to get is the same results.
Exactly.
You got to make a decision to say, this might be hard today, but I'm going to get up and do it.
Exactly.
One thing Daddy did say to me was, he's like, Kevin, me and him been talking a lot more now. And he's like, Kevin, one thing I say about you is, I used to always say, you was always so busy, you're so hyper, this, that, and the other. He said, but I'm looking at you now, and this all makes sense. That's why I'm like, people are like, oh, you working, you running a business, you go to school. Like, yeah, there's a, nurture that thing that you think that, exactly. Like, I'm getting, do I be tired? Yes. Sometimes I just want to lay there and go, I don't feel like doing it. Like, I get tired of it.
Sometimes you need to do that.
But
I tell you
that. Right. There's times I need to rest.
Sometimes you just need to be like, I'm not doing nothing.
I agree. There's times I do
Everybody need to do that. You need to have that day where I don't care.
But you know why I don't? Because I'm so fearful that if I pull away, that I might get stuck. It is something I'm still working on. Because everything around me and the people around me, all I see is stuck.
Just if you did that for one day.
I know, I'm trying. I'm working on it 100%.
Well, at least you're working on it and you're acknowledging it.
Yeah. We're taking a vacation this fall for my birthday, for my 40th.
I am so glad because
Yeah.
you've been wanting to go. I'm so glad.
Because it'll be the first time
Yeah.
I'm taking one.
Yeah.
Because even when y'all would do family vacations, remember I'd be like, no, I'm going to stay, and I would go to work and then go to Granny's or stay at home by myself. Like, it was this idea, if I keep grinding, if I keep moving forward, I can keep going. But I have learned, especially in where I'm at today, that I cannot offer, preach, teach these things to other people and
don't
I'm
do
not
it.
practicing them.
Right.
I'm never going to be
Right.
that person that stands in front of other people. And I feel better when I choose myself first. I feel better when I
Practice
feel
what you
better
preach.
that I don't allow myself to sit in things that I don't have to be in. And sometimes that stuff is not popular. Like, if people don't get anything else from what I'm offering right now, people don't even understand this. Like, it is seriously okay for you to make a decision and a change for yourself that might not be so popular, that might not be the norm for everybody else. If you know it's for you and you know it's the thing that you need to do to get healthy, if you need to get out of a certain relationship, if you need to change, like you said earlier, like your circle, if you need to take that class, if you need to, whatever you need to do, take that one step and do the thing that you need to do. Because I come from some beautiful things and some real hard things. But I don't have to be stuck in the hard stuff just because it happened to me. You can make a decision to change, and you just got to challenge yourself. And one of the things I always do every day is, what is an area I'm trying to grow in? And it might be the same thing for a year. It might be the same thing for 2 years, because sometimes it takes some work. But what is that one thing that I want to focus in on, that one thing that I want to look at in front of me and do differently? And it's like, as much as I want to make you proud and my grandmother and
But you
Banny
gotta
was
do
still
it
here
for
proud,
you.
it's about me.
Yes.
Like, it's 100%
You gotta
about
live your
me.
life.
I told my brothers all the time when we were little, y'all better do better than I do. Everything I do it 20, 30 times. Like, do better than me. Don't do what I do. It's a competition, right? Like, let's do better. And the reason why, and that's pressure, and the reason why I put that on us is I don't want us to be stuck. And at one point in life, like, long time from now, it's just going to be us three, right? So, like, we're going to need each other. I want to be able to be there for each other. But at the end of the day, everything you do, you got to do for you. And you got to take that step. And I think sometimes that's hard, because I get stuck in a mindset of like, is this all this is going to be? Because it's hard. Growth is hard. Daily growth is hard.
I know.
And you just got to still choose it no matter what.